Hello there, YouTube. Thanks for stopping by the Pick Six Podcast channel. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on alerts so you're notified when we go live. I'll probably get an alert in like 3 seconds that we went live on my telephone. You can watch on your phone. You can watch. Oh, there it is. Amazing.
Get with the telephone. Okay, Grandpa.
Okay, hold on a second. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Brinson. I'm your host. You're listening to the podcast in audio form. It is Thursday, June 16th. If you're watching on YouTube, Wednesday, June 15th. If you're watching live anyway, we are live every day around 1 o'clock or so. That voice you heard during the supposed YouTube cold open was Ryan Wilson joining me to do some NFL news. What's up, Ryan?
Hello.
What was your complaint?
It's funny that you always call the cell phone a telephone, like it's your grandma at your grandma's house.
I don't really, I don't think that that's like an old Persian thing to do.
No, I don't think you do because you keep saying it.
Do you think it's like cool to say cell phone?
I say mobile phone.
That's real cool.
So I can pretend like I'm from England.
What'd you say? You should say cellular telephone.
Celly is also an option.
Do not say celly.
Next week, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Sully on my celly.
Sully on the celly. Anyway. It's, man.
Excited?
Incredible energy today, Wilson. Incredible energy. Are you still mad that your power went out in the middle of the HQ hit?
No. I was happy that happened.
I wish my power had gone out.
Yeah. In retrospect, I say yes too often. That's my problem. And I got stuck an hour-long show with you. In addition to the other hour-long shows we do 3 or 4 times a week. And that was just too much. I couldn't take it. I hadn't eaten a lot. I was thinking about why was I so – because Pete kept calling me bitter. You know you're in a bad way when Prisco's calling you bitter. And I was like, why was – and I wasn't properly fueled to deal with your nonsense. And I just it was like 2010 in terms of me on the Brinson inability to cope factor.
Interesting. Molly P in the chat, YouTube chat. If you're in the YouTube chat, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Says all the teens in my house just say phone. I would say that's probably what I say too. Like, can you call my phone? I don't say telephone regularly. I just happen to be like
the last 2 podcasts you said telephone. It caught my ear because I thought it was weird.
Okay, I think mobile phone is weirder than telephone.
No, mobile is something. That's what they say in England. I was just joking. Let's call it like cell phone or phone. I don't remember the last. Remember last time I said telephone?
Yeah, I agree. Anything other than phone sounds weird. Because it's like all of your, mobile phone sounds like a 54-year-old could call dumb. Yep. I mean, Wilson is 54. Well, wait, you'll be 53 this coming, 27th?
27th is
your anniversary.
Birthday.
Your birthday's the 27th.
Josh Katzwitz's anniversary, I believe, is the 27th.
That's right. That's what it is.
I will not be 53. I know you're
54.
You're playing the joke up. Yes.
You'll be 49.
Yeah, actually, you got that right. I want to talk to the 3-year-old that told you were 35. He probably thinks I'm like 18. You talk to that guy.
You might look at that cool guy without the hair. He's definitely 35.
Why are you bald as a teenager?
I tricked somebody else into believing I was 35 on Monday too. They were like, "What? No, you're not." Are you really? I was like, absolutely. Look at this. Look at these hair plugs. Like, I'm clearly 35.
Did they have a look on their face like, oh boy?
They're like, I thought you were 40. I thought we were the same age. I was like, I am 40. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. This guy's done some tough living if you're 35.
That's a hard disagree.
You don't look like you're 35. Let's be realistic.
I don't think I look like I'm 40. I feel like I'm 50.
Yeah. What do you look like? I know you too well to I mean.
Well, I mean, I think
you act like you're 8
because my hair is like way too long right now, and I just can't get it to.
I know the hair plugs. You can't mess with them for like 3 months. I know. I understand. Look at the state of this guy.
I can't hear you because I don't have my earphones on.
Good.
I don't have my cellular earphones on.
There you go. Your cellular earbud. Like Breach looks 35. Just because
I think I can't tell how old Breach looks.
It depends on the lighting. Like the up lighting, like the lighting you see right before he stabs you to death. He probably looks younger. Regular lighting.
Right, yeah. Right. He makes right before the end. He makes people tell him, how old he is.
How many people do you think the last thing they saw on planet Earth?
Caleb in the chat. Put it on, Debo. Put it up. Late 30s, to be honest. Looks young to me.
Yeah, Caleb's watching on his
Ladies
phone.
and gentlemen, I rest my case.
Caleb's watching on his phone on 2G. He has no idea what you look like.
it's purposely
Fuzzy.
Yeah, purposely fuzzy. Anywho, that was probably the worst open to this podcast ever.
No, trust me, there have been worse.
Let's talk some news. And we'll start with contract situations. Actually, you know what? We'll start with Minkah Fitzpatrick because he just signed a contract.
Yes, he did.
Guy signs a 4-year, I believe it was okay. The original tweet I saw was like 4 years, $18.4 million. I was like, that is a terrible deal for him. Why did he do that? But it was 4 years, $18.4 million per year.
Right. Yeah.
$36 million guaranteed at signing, according to Adam Schefter, makes Minkah Fitzpatrick the highest paid safety in NFL history, certainly by some metrics. As with all these deals, we have to see the actual guts of the contract. But this is a lot of money for Minkah Fitzpatrick and kind of a big first move for new Steelers GM Omar Khan to double down on a guy that was I know you're going to disagree with this take, probably. It's fine. But it was a pretty controversial trade when the Steelers got Minkah, not because Minkah's like a bad player or anything like that, but anytime you give up a lot of picks for a safety, same thing with the Jamal Adams deal, it's going to be heavily debated on both sides. Seahawks fans hate Jamal Adams blindly for some reason. They just cannot get past the fact that they gave
for some reason. I think you know the reason.
Well, they give all the picks for him,
and what?
I don't know what the end is.
Oh, he's not been very good.
Oh, I don't think he's been that bad.
Okay, go ahead with the Minkah stuff so you can.
But Steelers fans just will irrationally defend Minkah. It's like the polar opposite. Yeah, and Minkah had kind of a down year last year, right? I mean, not as good as his previous company.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
2 years ago was when Prisco left him off the top 100. And I think if Pete was being honest, he would say he just forgot about it. But then he had to defend it. And B-Mac brought Minkah on and came on with Pete I think it was on the All Things Covered, maybe even HQ, and he had to defend that. Look, and it's hard to do a top 100 list, and then if you overlook someone, have to defend it. But to Pete's credit, he did do that. That said, he only had Minkah 97. And I love Antoine Winfield, who he had 49th as top safety.
Love Antoine Winfield.
I don't love him more than Minkah. Minkah is so incredibly important to that defense. And to finish up your thought about, it was controversial when they traded a first-round pick and change.
And to be fair, and as Dominic pointed out in the chat too, it's the Jamal Adams it was 2 firsts for Jamal Adams, and one of them ended up being really early because the Seahawks stunk.
Yeah, and that's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, that's
unless you're, I don't know who you have to be, Tom Brady in a trade. Otherwise, you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. Minkah would have been a late first and whatever else. I don't remember what it was. And when teams make those sort of deals before the trade deadline, it's a sign that you're panicking. And the Steelers were in full panic mode because their secondary sucked. They had Sean Davis, who didn't work out as a second-round pick. He was replacement level, and that's fine, but they didn't re-sign him after his rookie deal was up. Terrell Edmonds was the first-round pick who plays close to the line of scrimmage. They just gave him a 1-year deal after his contract was up. So he didn't really he wasn't a superstar's first-round pick. Minkah came in and sort of no. I was just sort of looking at the stats, and I guess I had forgotten too that because the Jamal Adams deal happened in the offseason, right? Yeah, I believe so.
But Minkah happened 2 games into the season.
That's right.
I want to say the Steelers were either 1-1 or 0-2.
Well, their secondary
they were 0-2 when they traded for him, and because that was the thing. We were what are they doing? Why would you give up a first-round pick? You're 0-2. It doesn't look like you're going to be very good. But Minkah was massively impactful for the defense that season, right?
Not that season. Day 1. I think are you looking at the schedule?
Yeah. So San Francisco, they lost 24-20.
Hold on. The San Francisco game is week 3.
Yes.
That's he was traded after week 2.
Yep.
He played in week 3, and I think he had a fumble recovery, maybe two fumble recoveries in that game. Yeah. And then he just went off from there.
Fumble, a pick, one pass defended, 5 tackles. Yeah, and a
he had been in Pittsburgh for 48 hours, and that's what he did. So that's why Steelers fans like, oh, this guy's good. And look down. Did they play the Colts that season too later in the season? Because I think either Jacoby Brissett or Andrew Luck, whoever was quarterback, was out, and Brian Hoyer played in and came and threw a pick six, like a red zone pick six that Minkah got. It was either that season or the next season. But
96 yard interception return. For
those plays stick out to Steelers fans. Yeah. And again, it was a late first round pick the next year. You're like, you're not getting anyone, I said this at the time, as good as Minkah Fitzpatrick with that pick anyway. If you're the Steelers, it's a home run. Now the Jamal Adams thing, as you and Dominic noted, 2 first rounders, and he hasn't been very good.
I mean, you're right. It was Brian Hoyer. Great call. Good memory.
I think Jacoby got hurt earlier in that game.
Yeah. It had been, let me see. It was it was Jacoby Brissett. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause that's the right. Yeah. I guess. Okay. So that's the bigger difference there when you start looking at Minkah versus Jamal Adams too, is that Minkah comes in, and when I say it was controversial, I just mean that, I remember us arguing.
No, I agree with that.
All for the trade.
But it's a fair question to ask. Sure.
Yeah. Like they were 0-2, and it's like, if he doesn't, if he comes in and you continue to lose, this could be a really impactful pick.
And I'm sure the conversation was the quarterback class or whatever. I don't even remember who was drafted the next year in the quarterback class, but I think the Steelers ended up going 8-8 or whatever they usually do because they didn't have a losing record.
The Steelers, I'm just thinking like back to the 2020 draft because they get Chase Claypool with their first pick, and the what did the Dolphins? The Dolphins traded around a bunch. I want to say with the Steelers pick, because they swapped with as part of the Jordan Love trade, maybe they basically ended up getting Noah Igbenogany for Minkah, I think.
Oh wow! Here, I'll look real quick. I'll look it up. So that was the 2020 draft.
Yeah. Because remember, so they had all those picks in that 2020 draft because they got 2 at 5, and then they got Austin Jackson at 18 and Igbenogany at 30.
Yeah. So the Dolphins got Austin Jackson, you mentioned, 2020 5th-round pick that turned into Jason Stowbridge, and they got a 2021 first-round pick that was Jonathan Marshall. And the Steelers got Minkah and Kevin Dotson, which are some picks that came their way, who's going to be battling for a starting job, and Trey Norwood, who played a pretty big role last year as a 7th-round pick. So I think on paper the Steelers won this trade pretty easily because Austin Jackson – I don't know how I haven't followed him closely since he left USC, but I don't know. I think the Steelers would be
Austin Jackson's been. I think he's been
fine.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers would do the deal again. Obviously, they just signed him to a contract extension, and so like that. I mean, we're sort of walking back through how the deal went down too. Again, like the difference with Jamal Adams is Adams happened on a Saturday. You knew you were going to have to pay him the second you made that trade, because you gave up multiple first-round picks for him. And they gave up a first, a third in 2021, and a 2022 first as well. So just looking at, and I'm not trying to make this a Jamal Adams thing, but like I do think that the discussion is like warranted, right? The Jets ended up going. They moved up and got Elijah Vera Tucker. Interesting, USC offensive lineman in both trades. Weird. It is bizarre, right?
Yeah.
And then in the 2022 draft, who did they get with that first pick that they had?
2022? I think I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at 2021.
The Jets got Garrett Wilson with the Seahawks pick. Because the Seahawks ended up getting the pick of anyway. Sorry, I'm babbling on. But the point being is that the Steelers, when they swapped for Minkah in season, got immediate dividends from him and were successful that season as a result of Minkah being there, and therefore they gave up lower picks thanks to Minkah coming in and being an impactful player.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me. I didn't care. I was happy with the trade at the time. I understand the controversy. Also, the Steelers never trade first-round picks. And I was talking about this on HQ earlier. Incidentally, in 2003, the Steelers traded up to get Troy Polamalu. Do you know who they traded up with? I'll give you a 2-part question here.
In 2003,
you probably don't know, but
I'm going to guess the Dolphins.
The Chiefs. Who do you think the Chiefs drafted in 2003? Once they moved down 8 or 9 spots, however far it was. So the Steelers, I think Steelers went to 16 to get Palomalu, and the Chiefs went down to 23 or whatever, 24.
2003 draft. God.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
if I give you a hint, you'll know it because of the team. I'll give you the hint. This position is not as popular as it once was for first round picks.
Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson.
Priest Holmes, I think, may have been like an undrafted.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, Priest Holmes was already there, and then they brought in Larry Johnson from Penn State.
Yeah, so Larry Johnson was the pick, which is sort of funny to think about. Like no one on planet Earth is now trading. Well, I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Like Saquon and like who's Antoine Winfield. Like who are you drafting first?
Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math, see if you could find a running back you take before a safety.
I mean,
Jonathan Taylor or Antoine Winfield. Both second round picks, incidentally.
I mean, I would probably go with Antoine Winfield just because I think that.
I think I would take Jonathan Taylor.
Just like I mean, what's Jonathan Taylor's lifespan as a player? Sorry,
Pick 17. That's where we're going to take these two guys. Jonathan Taylor will play for 6 years.
I'm taking the like the impactful, multifaceted safety.
I was going to say impactful, multifaceted. It sounds like.
Yeah. The problem is if you take the running back at 17, you're getting like that dude's got to be really good, or else you're getting killed for it.
When was Najee? Najee was 22, I think. Maybe something.
Yeah,
like
and they basically said we're going to
run your ass into the
ground for 4 years. Hey, Najee, do you remember Le'Veon Bell? That's what's going to happen with you.
24. So he was 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. 17 is a little high for both safety and running back, but just for the sake of discussion. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, quickly, Antoine Winfield. I'm going to go through Pete's list of safeties. He had 10 safeties. I'll read them real quick. 49 Antoine Winfield, 52 Micah Hyde, 54 Kevin Byard, 69 Buda Baker, 74 Derwin James, 78 Jordan Poyer. Hang with me here. 95 Jesse Bates, 97 Minkah, 99 Harrison Smith, 100 Marcus Williams. Is Minkah too low on that list? He's 8 out of 10 at 97.
Yeah, but I feel like Pete might have
a hatred for Minkah. Okay.
Might have what?
A hatred for Minkah?
Yeah. I feel like Pete put him on at 97 because he was scared to not to leave him off and have like the back.
I don't know what he has against. It's a weird sort of flex that to not like Minkah, his game. Like, are you taking Micah Hyde over Minkah Fitzpatrick?
It's a good question.
I mean, it's not even.
I mean, not for like the long haul. I mean, Micah Hyde's old.
Well, Minkah's 25, 26.
I mean,
I wouldn't even take. I love Antoine Winfield as well. I wouldn't take him over Minkah. It's just weird. Like Jesse Bates. You talk about a guy who didn't have a good year last year. Jesse Bates didn't have a good year last year. He played.
Pete and I talked about that actually on yesterday.
What he said.
He's like he didn't have a great year, but he was like he admitted that it was a contract was in his head, thinking about all that, and then he played really well down the stretch, and then played really well in the playoffs too. So I mean, yeah, like.
It's fine. I'm not gonna crush Pete for. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard to do a top 100.
Yeah, for sure.
What were the responses to? Did you mention my Derek Carr and Scary Terry as guys who were left off the list?
I did. In fact, I even pointed out that Breach. I even played a. What I did on HQ. So we're like live on HQ.
Oh God!
And I was like, I have gotten official snubs from Ryan Wilson and John Breach, and they're like, wait, really? I was like, yes, John Breach says that the biggest snub on this list is
Tyron Mathieu.
I played it on HQ and actually got a pretty good laugh because Amanda was, Amanda, I think listens to the pod. Shout out Amanda and Prisco both got it. So they like that. And then we did like a lengthy Derek Carr segment actually.
Yeah. I saw you're on social now, worshiping at the altar of Derek Carr. You're the absolute you're so wishy-washy. I saw that. I saw your Instagram stories, and I saw the first 2 seconds. I'm not watching. I'm not giving the credit. If you start an Instagram story, don't finish it. Does it show up as you knowing that I saw it?
I can let you know.
I hope not, because I clicked out of it so fast because I didn't want you to know that I saw it. I was so angry.
I'll tell you. I don't really like. You know me. I'm pretty.
Wilson, you're aging yourself.
What's the answer, Debo?
This is like our Snapchat conversation a couple years ago. Yes, he can. He should be able to see it. He will.
Even though I didn't finish it.
Yeah, if you click that thing for half a second, he knows.
Shucks.
It stinks too because I'm just scrolling through all these people who saw it. Yep, there he is, Ryan Wilson.
Dang it. You know what else I had to Google the other day, Debo, because of my son? It was, can you exclude certain people from seeing your Instagram stories? And the answer to that is yes. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, you can share. It's like, the crazy thing they're about to do with this new, have you seen this new iOS thing?
What happens?
You can delete text after you sent them. I don't know how the hell that's going to work.
I mean, you can delete them on your phone now, but the other person still has them.
Yeah, but you can like recall them.
You can recall email.
Man.
Have you ever recalled an email? Like, I don't know how that works either. I've never had to do it because I typically only yell at you in person. I don't send nasty emails. I used to have it turned on in Gmail because I thought it was like a good idea. Like you get angry. Well, you've sent some company-wide emails that if I were you, I'd have recalled seconds after hitting send.
I definitely have some emails I would have liked to have recalled. Yes, that's right. Just some reply. Oh, you want to elevate this? Allow me to elevate this as well.
Sweet Jesus. All right.
But the problem was with the recall thing turned on, it was like it massively delays like when everybody gets your email. So like if you're on an email thread where people are like, going back and forth about something, you would look like you were chiming in like with a 15-20 second delay like an idiot.
Yeah.
Or like a 5 minute, whatever it was. The other thing on the new iOS, I like this idea because I mean, this is to no one's surprise, but I'm really like, I will start to reply. If somebody texts me, I will start to reply and like type half of a reply and then like forget to hit send and then like never go.
Let me ask a question because again, I don't want to reveal too much of my my son's medical history. No, my age. You think you might have ADD?
Almost certainly.
Yeah, because I get
distracted.
I'm happy. It's fine. Our 15-year-old struggles with focusing.
Sure.
Like he cannot focus, and much like you, I will tell him something, and I might as well be talking to a wall, and he'll like just stare like you, stare right through you. Unlike you, he's not necessarily staring at his phone. You're like like a 1,000-mile stare. Like there's always golf on behind me, even if we're standing. Like if we're sitting in a car talking. So I wonder. Yeah, I will say you drink coffee though. One of the things prior to some kids don't respond to medication apparently, and we're just early on this process.
You know what's interesting about Phil Mickelson has.
Yeah, exactly. But caffeine apparently can have positive effects in terms of helping kids focus. I know you drink coffee, so I don't know if that's a solution for you. But
Anthony in the chat says, "Whoa! What kind of work emails does Brinson send out?"
Oh gosh, Anthony.
Yeah, look, man, the pandemic was weird. The early part of the pandemic was weird.
Unless the pandemic's been going on for 15 years, I don't know what the excuse is about. Brinson is entitled, Anthony, and if things aren't going his way, he thinks they should be going his way, and he will call out people who on the org chart are higher than him and do it on a company-wide email that goes to hundreds of people. And am I saying anything that's not true?
I don't know. I mean, I
enjoy reading it, but I imagine the person that is aimed at doesn't enjoy reading it.
One email was sent in response to, and it was a reply, first of all.
I don't even remember. It
wasn't like I just came out with like a bazooka and started blasting people.
Brinson, Wilson's acting like night one of 2020 NFL draft does not exist.
Oh, I've talked about that before. I've talked about that countless times. By the way, so Debo's been pleasant for years, now, and he goes back into the office and suddenly he's got beer muscles. What's he doing at work that he's suddenly a tough guy?
It's
peacocking around in his little walking boot because he got stepped on by a horse.
What is Wilson is lashing today? I love it.
I've talked about that before, Debo. How dare you, sir? Yeah, I had an absolute meltdown at 2 a.m. post first round draft podcast, and it wasn't even Brinson's fault.
I was just sitting there laughing.
Yeah, I used to have to write stuff after the draft once I started doing the
when Wilson, for those of you listening or watching, when Wilson melts.
It is a scene.
Like, remember the time when the Ndamukong Suh story?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about
the story. It wasn't even like that good of a story.
No, but when you actually used to work and write stuff, you would call things. It's a long story. They've heard it before, but yeah, that I was seeing red. I was so
We're like barking back and forth in campfire, and all of a sudden my phone rings, and it's my cellular mobile telephone rings, and it's like Ryan Wilson. I was like, oh boy.
mm.
Oh no, you called EK?
I called EK, and EK was
Excellent.
laughing. He thought it was so funny, and I was like, I was yelling at the top. I was so mad. And I'm sure I was dropping a few cards. Yeah, I didn't call you. I told you before, the funniest thing about that was that I was like angry at you. And this is the thing that almost caused me to throw my computer through the freaking window.
Some stupid Adama Sue story, too. It's like
you did. I was pissed. I said, you're being a jerk or whatever. And you did / wanking. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to kill him. Oh man, Debo, you need to count your lucky stars. You didn't work with Brinson 10 years ago.
Things. You don't even do that. People don't even do that anymore. I don't know what you do now. Like maybe
backlash sarcasm font.
Yeah, that's right.
I got 1 month left.
Debo's leaving the company. The joke's on you, Debo, because wherever you end up, that's where Brinson's going to end up 2 months later. You can't leave him.
Nope, can't escape.
Are you really leaving? Is Debo?
What's that?
Is Debo really leaving in a month?
Oh,
Leaving Brinson
for higher.
We're breaking up.
Higher real estate on the org chart.
You're kind of dropping like breaking news to the podcast here. I mean, I know that you're leaving at some point in some nebulous moment in the future. I don't like it too. I don't.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna cry. Look at that. Oh my gosh, he's breaking up.
I was coughing.
Uh-huh.
I'm not crying. You're crying, Debo. No, I mean, I don't put too much. I'm trying to say this delicately. I don't put too much stock in specific timelines that get issued as it relates to things that might change within our company.
It's a good time to take a break.
I think so too. Speaking of our company, I bet we've got a fantastic Paramount Plus commercial coming up for those watching on YouTube. So let's take a break and we come back. More NFL news.
Martin, the reunion. Action.
This one's for you, Tommy.
A reunion to remember.
This show was and still is big for the culture.
Martin the Reunion, streaming June 16th on BET Plus.
Okay, that was not Paramount Plus, but it was BET Plus, and I did not realize that there was I really got to stop discussing the commercials, huh?
I actually want to talk about the commercial.
I didn't know there was a Martin reunion coming.
I didn't know that Tommy died. Did you know that, Debo?
Yeah.
Damn, Gina.
Yeah, we're going all into territory. Well, Debo's leaving in a month. We can do whatever we want. Man, dang on. He died in 2016. Holy Moses.
I did not know that.
It's on Paramount Plus. Actually, I was watching a couple episodes the other day. So just taking it back to Shanae. I don't know if you ever watched Martin.
Me?
Yeah.
Of course I watched Martin.
Okay.
I just said, damn, Gina.
Yeah, I know. But you used to say the Parenthood line, why is he even out there? And you had no idea what I was talking about. So I had to double check.
But the no business?
No business, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
That's true. I know.
I said the line first.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think I would know damn Gina if I didn't watch Martin.
So, Debo, you need to clarify some things because Molly P is now, she
got
kicked off YouTube.
Stan is also asking about, we have multiple people in the chat asking, like, wait, what do you mean Debo's leaving?
Debo isn't leaving. He's just breaking up with Brinson.
I'm not going too far, but I just told the bosses I need some time apart from Brinson. So that's how we'll put it for now, but I'll still be around.
Do you think Debo, this is like Debo was your freshman roommate in college and you guys grew close through the year, but once June rolls around, you'll never see him again for the next 3 years? Like he can't wait to get away from you? Like you aren't really friends?
Geez. Probably. That checks out. No, I don't
he sounds
so.
like he's fed up. Like he's had enough of you like leaving your dirty clothes all over the floor.
Well, that's fair. So the thing that Debo's not saying, because this is just Debo's style, is that Debo's getting promoted.
Is that why he's acting so what's the word?
Beer muscly?
Brash.
Beer muscly? Yeah.
Brash.
Brash. That's the word.
Yeah.
Overlordy.
Yeah. That's why. Yeah. He's feeling himself a little bit.
He's Matt Doherty when he got hired at UNC and fired all the secretaries.
Yeah.
Be careful. Right. That's a cautionary tale, Debo.
Yeah.
You say Roy Williams is coming in to the show?
Once you botch whatever next show no.
But literally Roy Williams is coming in. He has nothing going on. He's going to be the producer of the Pick Six podcast show.
Oh my God, that would be hell on earth. Roy's.
Dang,
now listen, let's stay on task here now. All right, now I want to hear more state talk. You get the helmet out of there, boy. Please, Roy, no. Oh my God, he'd make me remove all NC State paraphernalia and like.
Oh
bleep
yeah,
out
what's the
image.
new picture back there? I saw that yesterday when you were in between you yelling at me.
Oh, the that one.
Yeah.
It's JB John Bell. It's actually an old picture.
John Bell. Let me guess. My Morning Jacket.
Close.
Is it really? Is it
Not
close?
MMJ.
What'd you say?
It's widespread.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of My Morning Jacket other than when you talk about them, so I just thought I'd throw that guess out there.
My morning jacket. I mean, they're great. No, that's Jim James is My Morning Jacket. That's
Jim.
actually a
Called Jim.
oil painting done by the great Sybil Warnall, my friend from college.
Awesome.
Yeah, she painted that in college. Let's see. 04 painted.
You've had it the whole time, or you just got it?
What's that?
You had it the whole time, or you just got
Oh
it?
yeah, I've had it for years. I just put it up there because I really liked it. And
All right. Yeah,
and get
noticed
some
that.
run. Fill up some space behind me. And yes, people get promoted from this podcast.
Did you have
This
to
podcast is a veritable launching pad for careers.
name two? Debo and who else?
Sean?
That dude quit the business.
He got to law school.
Apparently doing quite well.
Correct. I didn't say he got promoted in the sports industry.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Surely there's somebody else who's had some success by virtue of being on here.
I don't think so. Who else has been on the show as a regular? Like Benoit was never. We didn't do podcasts then.
And no, to answer your question, Molly, Debo is not my new boss.
He's already been his boss, his old boss.
I don't think Debo will be my boss.
Why? His boss is your boss.
That's not how that works.
Typically, that's how it works.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
I
Debo's
think,
acting like he-
I think they like shipped me and Breach off into some bizarre, and maybe you too, off into some like bizarre island on the org chart. It's like just a little it's a little peninsula out there.
well, Debo's
Anyway,
acting.
you know what? Let's talk football. Nobody cares about this.
Debo's acting like he's your boss. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, Debo,
The attitude he's got.
this attitude he's got. It's just good.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murphy. What the hell is going on?
Love it.
Kyler Murray both showed up for minicamp. Which contract situation would concern you more if you were a Ravens or Cardinals fan?
Cardinals, because I don't know if I want to sign him long term to whatever money he's going to make. Ravens, I don't think Lamar's. I don't feel like there's any animosity between him and the organization. Kyler was doing all the social media whinging and removal of the team name and all that other stuff earlier. And he's good over the first half of the season. And then he gets hurt and he and Cliff Kingsbury lose every football game over the second half of the season. Lamar Jackson feels differently than that.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar has won an MVP.
Yeah. And I mean, last year's, they had 10 ACLs in that team and COVID and everything else.
Good stat from our always fantastic research department that made for HQ, but we can use it on the podcast because, synergy and whatnot. Kyler Murray last year, including the playoffs with and without DeAndre Hopkins, 8-2 with 72% completion percentage, 278 passing yards per game, 19 touchdowns, 9 picks, 106 passer rating. Without DeAndre Hopkins, 1-4, 63% completion percentage, almost a full 9% drop, 228 passing yards per game. That's 50 yards less, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks, and an 81.2 passer rating. That's certainly concerning. I mean, like the Cardinals know this. You know what I mean? Like the Cardinals, if we are aware of this, the Cardinals are also aware of this. And the Cardinals are also aware that DeAndre Hopkins won't be playing for the first 6 games of the season. So
when the Cardinals typically win football games.
Yeah. So, I mean, like that's, and now, like, I don't know. I mean, I think Hopkins missed the games he missed were in the middle of the season or the latter part of the season, right?
I don't remember.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, do we think that is it so like this the late season melts? Yeah, he missed he started week 9, 10, 11, came back for 12 and 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So they went 1-3 down the stretch without Hopkins out there, losing to, remember they lost to the Lions, the Colts. They beat the Cowboys inexplicably. in Dallas and then lost at home in the final week of the season to Seattle with a chance to clinch the division. So I guess the way I was trying to frame it is, what do we think that the late season melt last year was about Hopkins not being on the field, or is it about Kingsbury and Kyler? Is it sort of all of the above? Maybe they couldn't game plan as well without Hopkins.
Well, I think it's all of the above, but I think Hopkins is probably worth 15 to 20% of that, maybe less.
Okay.
You still like Christian Kirk, who made $40 billion in the offseason going to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You had Rondale Moore, you had AJ Green, you didn't have Hollywood Brown, who they traded for during draft weekend. And as we sit here, I don't think this wide receiver group it's about the same. I think if you replace Christian Kirk with Hollywood Brown, that feels like probably an even swap, but you're going to be without Hopkins for the first 6 games. And look, we'll find out.
I think I would take Hollywood Brown, knowing that he has a previously established rapport with Kyler Murray because they played in college together, over Christian Kirk. For me, that's an easy call, but
no, I don't know if it's easy. It wasn't like Hollywood Brown was setting the world on fire in Baltimore, where they don't have any receivers.
Fair.
Christian Kirk actually has a body of work now. It didn't necessitate the contract he got, but that ain't his fault. That's the Jaguars who paid him. But I was going to say, we'll find out how much Trey Hopkins is worth to this team over the first 6 games, because typically, like I said, that's when they win all these football games. And if they don't have him and they go 2-4, then maybe it's a bigger issue.
Well, and that's sort of the problem. And like, that's the other thing too. When you look at Lamar versus Kyler, the Ravens are trying to call Lamar and get a contract done, and Lamar's like just not talking to them. You heard the owner, Steve Biscotti, came out and said Eric DaCosta can only call Lamar so many times.
Well, that's why your agent shouldn't be 26 years old and be you. Like, you need your agent to handle those things. So if you're on vacation, you're not answering the phone to do that stuff. If you're doing whatever you're doing, driving around town, you're not answering the phone.
I mean, if I'm Lamar Jackson and the Ravens keep calling me, I'm like, actually, if I don't have an agent, I'm probably like, I mean, that's a lot of pages of reading.
Eric? Or even the phone call. Like, what are you going to talk about? And I don't think any of the quarterbacks are in line to get paid anytime soon. I think everyone's paid that's going to get paid. So maybe he's just waiting to let the dust settle and then try to talk himself into Aaron Rodgers' $50 million range. I don't think that.
There's also been some rumbling that Lamar wants to be the guy who changes the way, I don't know how you would change it now that with Watson getting paid with the fully guaranteed deal, but I mean, Lamar, let's see, what's Lamar got? It's his 5th-year option coming up this season, right?
Yeah. He's making 9.4.
Because he was half of what Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are making. Amazing. His 5th-year option's coming up. And then they have, with the quarterback, you can go 3 franchise tags, but it gets pretty expensive. I mean, do you think there's a chance he would just play out these single-year deals? To me, that's crazy for a guy who runs as much as he does and who, had missed, several games with injury last year. Like, I would want to be getting a huge guaranteed amount if I
wait a second. Let me make sure I get this right on Lamar. I don't think he's not making 9.4 this year. Is he making 23? Is that right? That doesn't feel right. Base salary.
Oh,
right?
You know what it is? No, that's right. Yeah. You were probably, so remember, under the new CBA and the 2000, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. His first contract was for 4 years, $9.4 million. That's what I saw.
Yeah,
and then, okay, go ahead.
But his 5th-year option is bigger than Baker and Sam Darnold's, because under the new CBA, the 2018 guys were grandfathered in, even though the CBA happened after they were drafted. The 5th-year option, I'm 90% sure this is correct, what I'm saying. The 5th-year option can be altered in terms of value based on if you make Pro Bowls, All Pros, MVPs, etc.
So let me ask you, I know you don't like to use this as the definitive final say, but just for to start the conversation. So Aaron Rodgers makes 50. He's the highest paid annual average value. Spot Track has a market value tab, and they put Lamar at $44 million, which is more than Josh Allen and Dak Prescott, and just behind Patrick Mahomes. How do you feel about $44 million? That would rank 3rd behind Deshaun, aforementioned Aaron Rodgers, and the aforementioned Mahomes, just ahead of Josh Allen.
Yes. Okay. I am correct, by the way.
Good job.
I think it's set up. It's like there's 4 different. If you have multiple Pro Bowls, you get 25 million. If you have 1 Pro Bowl, which Lamar has 2, so he should be at 25. Maybe that's not right. Whatever the case, he has had on-field success and is making more money versus Baker or Sam Darnold, who is not getting as much. Yes, I think if you're Lamar Jackson, you're expecting to be the absolute floor. Scroll back up, please, if you will. The absolute floor is 45. I mean, like $45 million. I mean, you have an MVP. You've had tons of success on the field. Like, I'm not taking less than what Deshaun Watson got if I'm Lamar Jackson.
Well, that's on the Browns for being stupid. But I think Patrick Mahomes' argument is he's been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, like, but I'm expecting more than I guess you could talk me, if I don't have an agent, you could talk me to taking under Aaron Rodgers money, but I'm expecting around 50 million per year if I'm Lamar Jackson.
Well, you're not getting that.
Okay. Then you play out the 3.
And here's the other thing. I don't know if he's talked about this publicly, but once I saw that 23 million number, I was like, you know what? Maybe he's spending the summer building a $10 million house because he now has that money. Because previous to that, he never made more than 1.7 in a year.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like, but just the difference with Kyler and Lamar is that Cardinals fans and the Cardinals and a lot of people out there wonder, should we pay Kyler? There's some question as to whether they should pay Kyler. And like, are you going to give Kyler $45 million?
I am not. No.
There's no way in hell Kyler is taking less than $40 million.
No, he's probably not. I mean, and look, the Cardinals might pay him 45 or what number you put out there.
Whereas with Lamar, the Ravens are trying to give him like $45 million, and he's just not like interested in talking about it. So it's just 2 wildly different situations. I would be a little more concerned with Kyler because I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody can definitively know if he's like the guy, even though he's.
Is he better than Derek Carr, your new favorite person on planet Earth?
I like the youth and the upside of Kyler more than Derek Carr.
Well, Derek makes $40.5 million. So,
I mean, there's no way Kyler is taking.
No, I was going to give him, if you thought they were similar, I would give him a 10% markup on that. So that's $44 million. Is that what you said?
I mean,
would you do $44 million if you're Kyler?
I think he should.
You better run and take that money. That's right.
If you're getting more than Josh Allen makes in an average year, you should take that in a heartbeat.
I would take Derek Carr for the next 5 years over Kyler Murray. Like, I wouldn't even hesitate.
Wow.
Derek Carr's good.
I mean, look, the stuff, the leadership stuff with Kyler is, to me, that's a legitimate concern. Especially
I'm just talking about the on-field, the injury history, all the other stuff. What about Dak Prescott?
I want Dak over Kyler for sure.
Okay, well, he's at $40 million again. 10% markup, 44. That feels like too much. I know the answer to Matthew Stafford. I'm just going down the list of guys. $35 million is Russ Wilson because he signed his deal a few years ago. I don't think anyone's, even for the next 5 years, anyone taking Kyler over Russ? No, I don't think so. And then Kirk Cousins.
In fact, emphatically no. Although Russell didn't play great last year. I mean, like, you know what you're getting with Russ.
Yeah, because, I mean, there are a lot of reasons for that. Then the list after that, I think that's when Kyler sort of slots in. Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. So probably between Russ and Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. But again, he ain't playing for $35 million, even a 10% markup.
Well, that's the problem. Like,
so let's do a 10% markup of Kirk Cousins. So 35, that's 3.5. So that's 38, 39.
Or 10% markup. Sorry.
Yeah. 39 million. Would you do that if you're Kyler's people?
No, you can't do that.
No, you can't.
That's the problem. And then you have Kyler out here making a big stink of it before the draft, which is just nobody gets paid then. Like, this contract gets done in this time of year.
Yep.
So Kyler's behavior, I don't want to call it behavior, but it's like Kyler's attitude towards all this, deleting all the Cardinal stuff from Instagram, this statement that came out, all that, just the way that it was handled before the draft makes all of this the negotiation more difficult. So
I'm trying to think, like, the last time a deal was signed, that even the Kirk Cousins deal, which was 3 years, $85 million, all guaranteed, I believe, when it happened. Like, people weren't like, oh, that's outrageous. People were like, all right, maybe a little much for Kirk Cousins. He does some things well. He's controversial in that some people love him, some people don't. I think the Jared Goff and Carson Wentz deals were probably surprising in terms of how much they were for, given where those players. I think Jared Goff had played well up to that point, and then things sort of went south. And then Carson Wentz, he had been injured, obviously, and he got paid. Hey, Debo, where were you on the Carson Wentz new deal? Were you okay with that? Because you were still Carson Wentz fan?
I mean, I still am a Carson Wentz fan, but at the time, like, I think a lot of people thought it was brilliant because they were ahead of the game. They were ahead of the game, and they beat Dak and they beat all these other offers. So it was expensive at the time, but it made a ton of sense. And then his brain broke and he couldn't play football anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa.
All right. We'll see with old.
What broke his brain?
Who knows? Not this. Don't say the statue. I'll fire you quicker.
Than Carson Wentz.
Oh, the Nick Foles.
Oh!
Brinson thinks he walked by it for 2.5 straight years, and then just suddenly in 2020, it just clicked that, oh, that's Nick Foles, and then it broke Carson Wentz.
It just drove him insane. Like, I mean, like, I think it's a good theory. He wasn't rooting for. He was rooting for the Eagles. He knew deep inside of, at his core, that he was watching that Super Bowl, and while he was putting on an outward, I'm rooting for the Eagles, he was like secretly thinking, I'm okay if they lose with Nick Foles, because then I don't have to live with this ring I didn't really earn for the rest of my life.
I don't buy that. I don't totally buy the Jalen Hurts draft pick pushed him away, but that is much more believable than
all of it. All of it combined.
Brinson leans into drama. Like he wouldn't just say, Carson's just trying to tough it out, be a good teammate. No.
Yesterday, Prisco said Carson Wentz is an enormous upgrade over Taylor Heineke, and Brinson just rolled along with it. Like he hasn't been saying Heineke's better than Wentz all off season.
It's funny you say that, because he was lapping up all of Pete Prisco's nonsense on the HQ show before my power conveniently went out, and he was just like, basically when Brinson and I tried to team up on Breach, I was the Breach in this 3-man scenario yesterday on HQ.
Well, I mean, to be fair, and I don't know if the people on the podcast have heard what you said. Debo, you heard what he said, right?
What's that?
What Ryan said yesterday? That
Here, you tell
is a quote.
Whoa. You tell your version, and then I'll tell the truth. Go ahead.
I saw some tweets about it. Yeah.
You said, and there's video out there of you saying it. You said Cooper Kupp, and I'm quote, Cooper Kupp is a rich man's Hunter Renfrow, end quote.
What is controversial about that? Other than that, they're both white. Apparently, I didn't know that.
I mean, he's a taller Wes Welker.
He's crafty, sneaky fast,
sneaky athletic.
Yeah. What is controversial about calling him a rich man's, not a poor man's, a rich man's Hunter Renfrow, who just signed a huge deal, by the way?
Because he's just 1 billion times better than Hunter Renfrow. You said he's
like a billionaire compared to just an average person.
That's different than a rich man's Hunter Renfrow. If you're like he's a multi-billionaire's Hunter Renfrow, then you're just like these guys. The two guys that are white, like I don't even care about that. Like I get, but
do you not think Hunter Renfrow's good? Just putting aside Cooper Kupp for a second.
You said Cooper Kupp might be a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, let me get let's go down the list real quick, and let me ask Debo, because I know your thoughts, because you're just
in the chat. If you're listening on the podcast and you hear this take and you think Wilson's an insane person, tweet at Ryan Wilson CBS and tell him.
Yeah, by the way, that tweet
me too at Will Brinson if you want. And
that
tell
tweet
him,
didn't blow up quite like you buttholes.
I know, it really did. I was surprised.
All right, yeah, I know you
anyway,
guys are
blow him up on Twitter if you want. If you think he's an insane person, if you're in the chat, let us know your thoughts. Does Cooper Kupp is that an unfair statement by Wilson? Because I think it is.
Yeah, he's a rich man's. Okay, Debo, answer this question: is it unfair to say that Cooper Kupp is a rich man's Hunter Renfrow? Is that who is that disrespecting?
Cooper Kupp.
Shut up. You're mute yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's slightly disrespectful to Kupp coming off one of the greatest wide receiver seasons ever.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Debo's the voice of reason. You just jump on whatever bandwagon ensures you don't get dunked on. All right, let me ask you this, Debo. Would you rather have Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams?
Is this 2022 season only?
Just say going forward for the next 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years.
You were Howie Roseman. All the wide receivers have been put out there. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside already off the table, though.
Yeah, he was first overall. Duh.
Okay, no, that's helpful to know that we're putting it on a different team, and it's not their respective Rams or Raiders.
We'll put them. We can do the Eagles. That's fine. So Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams for the next 3 years in Philadelphia?
Devontae
Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson? That's a tougher one.
Jefferson.
I think
Cooper Kupp or
Jefferson's
Cooper Kupp or Tyreek Hill?
Shush me.
I would take Cup.
Ooh, Cooper Kupp or Jamar Chase?
I'd say Chase for the next 3.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think the Chase and Jefferson thing is different though, because you're like
Let me finish.
Justin
One more.
Jefferson's 22.
One more. Stop talking. 3 years. Cooper Kupp or Steph Diggs?
Cup.
Okay, so out of those 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, Debo picked 3 of the guys that I mentioned other than Kupp. My point is that I think it's fair to say I said top 10, and then I said top 7 as I was going through my answer. I don't think top 7 is out of this world disrespectful. That's all I'm saying.
I
And
mean,
again,
I just think you're going to be going for a little while longer before you get to Hunter Renfrow. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, my point. I wasn't comparing them. And look, let's be clear. It was I have 15 seconds to talk, and I was just making a joke. I like Hunter Renfrow a lot, and I always I always joke about you and him being brothers. Cooper Kupp is awesome. The bigger issue for me was that he went from 125th on Pete's list last year to 5th this year, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, these other players who were behind him, like Devontae Adams was 11, that's fine. Justin Jefferson 13, Tyreek 17, those are all fine. Jamar 18. I just thought Cooper at 5 felt like overcompensating for not, sort of like the reverse Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's all it was.
Okay, well, I mean, that is a much better way to explain it.
Well, I didn't have 5 minutes to be, and you're yelling in my ear, and Pete's hemming and hawing on
You
set.
were also on a delay for some reason. It was tough. It was tough. Like you had like a little slight delay because like
Yeah.
when you tried to jump in, and I couldn't tell that you were jumping in until like after you'd
I
started.
tried to limit that for those reasons.
Brandon
So
Cooks or Hunter Renfrow?
I'm thinking Hunter Renfrow is. I don't understand.
Stop it.
Here's the thing.
Tyler Lockett or Hunter Renfrow?
Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett should have made the list, by the way. That's another name I would have put on there. And now,
Curtis Samuel or
Hunter.
Hunter Renfrow?
Are you serious?
He
Like,
was trying to get us to wrap, and I'm just not going to let him. So we're going to very quickly talk Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Or do you want to talk? We can talk Baker Mayfield tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not here tomorrow, so that works too.
Oh, is it me and Breach?
Yeah.
I guess I could look at these things on email.
Yeah. Why would you?
Yeah, why would I bother? Okay.
Well, just end on this percent chance that Baker ends up in Carolina.
I think it's getting pretty high. Jonathan Jones, we'll just talk really quick. Jonathan Jones reported that there's at least a lot of interest from Carolina in Baker, and so did Joseph Person of The Athletic. Both guys worked at the Charlotte Observer.
One of those guys I went to college with.
That's right. And then JJ went to a terrible school. Both guys lived in Charlotte, covered the Panthers, know a lot of people in Carolina. If they're reporting that, then the interest is likely legitimate.
The holdup is
the cash. It appears.
like they want to pay Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield $36 million.
Yeah. And so it's basically like,
What
what
a world.
will Carolina and Cleveland have to hash out who's going to pay more of Baker Mayfield's salary? I saw some suggestion on just in the comments on Twitter. It's like, well, if Carolina wants Cleveland to pay more of the salary, then they're going to have to up the compensation. Like, there's just not going to be that much compensation for Baker. The Browns are just trying to get rid of him and get out from the situation. And the Panthers are sitting around realizing that Jimmy Garoppolo may not be available to be dealt for injury purposes, and that
He's still hurt. Like he's going to be hurt in August.
Well, I just think you're playing chicken with Sam Darnold and Matt Corral as your only quarterbacks. And like, why, if you're the Panthers, just why wouldn't you free roll like a shot at Baker, like bouncing back?
Well,
Like,
we said that. We said that in April.
It's just crazy. So,
By the way, do you think he makes that team better, Baker? The Panthers?
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know that like
I agree with that, by the way.
I don't know that. I mean, like, I think he's an obvious upgrade over Darnold and their quarterback situation. And I think I had this conversation with some friends of mine who are Panthers fans. They're like, is Sam Darnold still the quarterback for the Panthers? It's like, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Like, they're like, so wait, they really haven't gotten anybody else? Like, when they drafted
Matt Corral. Matt Corral slinging it at practice on Wednesday, by the way, according to Jonathan Alexander of the aforementioned Charlotte Observer.
Good for him. I just don't think like Matt Rule is clearly on the hot seat. The Panthers have a clear quarterback problem. They have upgraded the offensive line enough where if DJ Moore can live up to his contract, and he did get a contract extension, right? Yeah. Yeah, he got a big contract extension. DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp. Kidding.
If DJ Moore, duh.
No, oh my God, how dare you? If McCaffrey can be healthy and the defense can, like, the Panthers have a chance to be a fringe playoff contender if they got above average quarterback play.
Wait a second. How fringe?
7-10.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Like they could win 7 games if Baker came in and played like Baker did 2 years ago.
No, now you're not talking crazy. I can't push back on that. If you said 9 or something, I'd be like, well, no.
Well, and I mean, like you just point to like you just hope to get some like good luck bouncing your way.
Yeah, I mean 7 and some good luck is absolutely.
Like maybe 2 wins against the Falcons. Maybe the Saints are bad.
I just sent that the tweet I just put in Slack. I sent it to Prisco and said, once again, you're on the wrong side of history. And he said, everyone's following me in terms of his Minkah Fitzpatrick takes and every other take. Anytime anyone says something stupid.
Oh, lovely. I like that you sent that to Pete. God, I just looked down at my text messages. There's 49 unread text messages out of nowhere. It's all like Prisco yelling about something. At any rate, the Panthers need to get a deal done with Baker or with the Browns to get Baker because frankly, you just can't go into the season with Matt Corral and Sam Darnold. Like, it's just not a.
Let's assume that Deshaun Watson is suspended for the year. Not knowing it, I'm just guessing. At any point, if you're Andrew Berry, do you try to talk Baker into staying and make a huge apology tour?
I think the ship sailed. But yeah, I would.
Would you rather have Baker healthy or Jacoby Brissett for 17 games?
I mean, I think if the Browns could do the Thanos thing with the time stone where he rewinds.
Just time machine?
Yeah, time machine, I guess, could just be easier to say.
Does Thanos have a telephone?
No, but he can travel through time and the galaxy.
Yeah,
it is odd that none of those guys have phones.
I was joking. I was making a telephone joke, not a.
Yeah, I know what you're doing.
Anyway, so if they could go back in time,
he does not have a cellular phone.
Mobile. If he could go back in time, you think they wouldn't do the deal at all? Is what you're going to say?
Yeah, I think they would just be like. I think they would just be like, all right, Baker, we're pumped for 2022 with you. No, we have no interest in Deshaun Watson. Thank you for asking.
Yep.
So that's it. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Send your, I don't know what Diva's Twitter handle is, but if you heard that and you're like panicked that, you want to be
I think it's at Carson Wentz.
If you're panicked that you won't have any Debo in your life moving forward, you can tweet at him. Or you can unfollow him as a show of solidarity from the podcast. For Wilson, I'm Brinson. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.